Hello, 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 dreamers. Perla here. As always, thank you for your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. So this is on the CUSP Weekly Readings. So this is for all of our lovely CUSP signs. This video will be timestamped, my love. So let's go ahead and let's jump right on in. First off, we have Aries, Taurus, cusp. There is an energy here of being involved in a situationship without you even knowing it. Now, whether this is romantic or platonic is going to be different for all of you guys. So if this is romantically, you have been speaking to somebody, you've been spending time with someone, you've been hanging around with someone, and now all of a sudden, like, the truth comes up that this person either has like an entire family, like, a wife, a husband, kids, etc., multiple relationships, like left and right, and I don't understand where the confusion is here. I feel that maybe because of the way that you guys met, or maybe you guys met like online, or you guys met through like mutual friends or whatever it was, there was an understanding or at least an assumption here that someone was available, that someone was for grabs, right? So there wasn't necessarily a talk, and I know that this sounds so weird, but there wasn't necessarily like a talk of like, hey, are you with someone? It was more like talking about exes and talking about like past relationships. So am I saying that to excuse this person? No, because they should have been upfront with it, but you should also kind of clarify these things with people instead of making assumption like, people will definitely flirt with you. People will definitely engage with you to see how far they can get away with something, and this is kind of like what happened here. And now you're realizing that this is not a relationship, or maybe, this is not a relationship. This is not a friendship. This is just like you were just somebody that somebody was having fun with. Somebody was just experimenting with. Somebody was just enjoying their very brief moment in time with you. Now, how does this translate when it comes to, let's say, a friendship or a works environment? This is, somebody offering you like a full-time position, or offering you a part-time position with the possibility of full-time, when in reality they know that they're never going to offer you a full-time position. But you're going blindly in, assuming that this part-time job is going to lead to like a full-time position, right? When in friendships, it's like you're meeting people, you're networking with people, and you become friends with certain people, and when in reality all they wanted was to see what they can extract from you. There's something about being connected to you, etc., may help them level up to another level, or level up within a certain environment. So there is definitely that energy that you guys are dealing with during this week, and you're needing, and again, when I say do not victimize yourself, I'm not saying not to put blame where it's at. What I am saying is not to allow yourself to be held hostage by that energy, right? We play every single part in other people's life. We play the victim, we play the villain, we play the hero, we play everything. It really depends on whose life it is, right? Like who it is that we're connected with. It will depend on what part we're playing. And this entire ordeal, this entire situationship is happening so that you can be a little bit more proactive, or be more of a little bit more of an advocate for yourself. Ooh, why is that sounding like that? Give me a second. I feel like there's something stuck here. So anyways, we can talk as I'm checking this out. But there's here a space of you needing to be more of an advocate for yourself. You needing to not so much, and I don't want to say like submissive in the way of like a relationship, but I feel like sometimes you shy away from asking. Hold on, guys. Some little technical difficulties there, but we got to fix. Sometimes you shy away from asking certain questions or whatever, because you don't want to ruin the vibe, or you don't want to ruin this, or you don't want to ruin that. And Spirit is telling you like, hey, staying quiet or avoiding this is what leads you to these types of situations. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see what lies in the shadows. I have been doing like the shadows card for this week. That is way too many cards. I'm gonna take the one that fell to the floor. These were the other two that I wanted about. I Won't Cry for You and Parasite were the ones that fell on the table. The Atonement card is the one that fell to the floor, and this is kind of what I feel like you're counting your losses. You're taking whatever, or at least you're being asked, to count your losses and to take the lessons that you learned with whatever the situation is, and allow yourself to move forward and not allow yourself to stay stuck within this. Yes, there are times and areas in our life where people will come in to do nothing more than stab us in the back. And sometimes it's not necessarily because you've been doing something wrong. Sometimes it's because you've been leaving certain doors open. And sometimes it's because you haven't really been putting yourself first, or etc. And sometimes it's just that part of that person's path, and it has nothing to do with the work that you are doing. Some things are just that, okay? So let's go ahead and let's see what is their closing message for Aries, Taurus, Cusp. But what is the closing message for Aries, Taurus, Cusp? Give me one card, Spirit. What is their closing message, Spirit? What is their closing message? The tiptoeing, avoiding getting caught, acting shady, sneaking around. This is definitely the energy that you've been dealing with. Somebody has definitely gotten away with this for a very long time when it comes to you, when it comes to the situationship. It's also reading like this frenemy type of energy where somebody was pretending to be your friend, etc., and it was only to gain some type of access towards you, okay? So just be aware of that energy for this week. Taurus, Gemini, Cusp. Can you... and I'm going to pull it just because I want to show you, right? I've had this cup for like, I don't know, maybe like 13, 14 years. A lot of my Cinderella cups are like at least 14, 15 years old. Anyways, why am I grabbing that? Some of you are needing to grab what is yours or grab a cup of tea. There's something here about like something that is yours or something that you don't want to lose is what I keep on picking up. So for some of you, this may be a relationship. For some of you, this may be something tangible, something physical, and you're wanting to grasp onto something. You're wanting to hold on to something. And Spirit is like, you know what? The longer that you hold on to this, the longer that you're going to stay within this space where you feel defeated and you feel like everything is working against you. There is either a thought process or, again, a situation, a person, etc., that you are needing to walk away from. And you're needing to take what is yours, but you're needing to leave behind what is not, right? So, again, why is this cup so... Why am I using this as a representation? I have a huge collection of Cinderella mugs. I am a huge Cinderella mug person. Since I was a child. When I was married very young. I got married at the age of 18, and my then husband, who is my ex-husband now, was very, very good at getting me Cinderella mugs, collectible Cinderella mugs, and all of this. And when that marriage ended, but the gifts, the things that he gifted me didn't. Until this day, you'll see things on my desk, you'll see things that I wear that even though we've been divorced, he still gives me. And I take those gifts, I take those parts of our relationship, right, as what they are. Back then, when this was gifted, it was gifted out of an intimate, in love relationship. Whereas this was gifted as a co-parenting relationship. I don't know if that makes any sense, right? So there's here an energy where a relationship, a connection is shifting gears. And some of you are not wanting to let go. Right? Whether this is an ending in a relationship, that has ended or whatever, this can be at work or whatever, like you're not wanting to accept the changes of a dynamic of a relationship. Instead, you're staying very much or trying to stay very much attached to it. And it's like, if we're breaking up, then I'm throwing everything that you gave me away. And I know that we all went through those phases when we were in high school and stuff like that, like returning people stuff and stuff. And I'm like, I look at my closet, I look at all my things, and I'm like, oh, hell no, I ain't returning shit. Like, this was like, many, many years of gifts and things like that. Like, our oldest, is going to be 21 very soon. So it's almost kind of like that dynamic that you can still cherish and hold on to parts of relationships that have ended, and it doesn't devalue the time and the love that was once there, but also simultaneously accepting that part of the relationship, that phase of the relationship has ended, and now you're being shuffled into a new space, into a new era. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, the less that you resist that shift, the better that it's going to be for you. All right, so let's go ahead and let's see what is in the shadow space for you guys. What is in the shadow space for you guys? Hiding your true self, number 14. Within this connection, within this relationship, and I don't know why yours weren't truly just relationship-wise, there was a lot of parts of yourself that you needed to hide, that you needed to keep in the shadows. You became less vocal. You became less sensual. Oh my God, sensual. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this word. You dimmed yourself a lot. You minimized your wins. you didn't celebrate yourself as much. And Spirit is asking you, like, you could love somebody very dearly. You can love somebody a lot, but there's a difference between loving someone and actively being in love with someone. And I feel that for you guys, you're holding on to the illusion of what you thought you were going to have with this person versus the true of the matter of what this relationship actually turned out to be. Alrighty? All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for your closing message. So the closing message oracle card is usually a confirmation to what I have said or what it is that you should be focusing on, like a little piece of advice. It really depends. Like usually when we get a confirmation is usually because you're not listening or you're trying to dismiss what I'm saying. And when you get advice, it's because it's finally sinking in that, yeah, this is what I need to do. All right, let's go ahead. Snack, obsession, physical attraction, and sex appeal. So there is definitely a sense here of a lot of you needing to get back to you, but you're stuck within this space of obsessing again about not, you need to stop comparing yourself. If this person is dating somebody new, you need to stop comparing yourself to them. You need to stop worrying about what they're doing. And why do I say that? You're sneaking around looking at someone's social media, or someone is sneaking around looking at someone's social media. I personally have all of my social medias public. Because of what I do is what I share, but there's somebody here that is like, again, sneaking around or obsessing about what this person is doing. Is this person coming back, etc., etc. And you're just needing to let go of that, babe. And I need you to refocus your energy on you. Hit the gym, go for that run, go for the hike, whatever it is that is going to allow you to kind of shift back into yourself is what I need you to do during this time. And let this ending finally happen. Gemini, Cancer, Cusp. Leaving someone behind, and not necessarily romantically. I feel like you're leaving a group of people behind. There is an elevation or a growth when it comes to some type of career environment. For some of you, this is, either getting a promotion or, to be honest with you, I am picking up a promotion for some of you. This elevation energy is really much giving me this energy, and it's because like I'm seeing it and I'm hearing it, and it's like, okay, can we no sensory overload right now? I'm not in the mood for that. Anyways, it's too early in the morning. So it's more of like some of you are starting a new job. Like physical location, like you're changing companies, you're changing agencies, whatever it is, right? But you're not starting at the bottom. You're coming in as the boss. You're coming in, so you are going to be taking that leadership position, whether it is like a CEO or CFO, CEO, whatever it is. There's different types depending on the company itself. But you are going to be overseeing a very large group or a very large whatever. And I am going to say this. The cultural environment of this new job is going to be something that you are not familiar with. You're coming, and why do I say that? You are coming from a very unhealthy, you can use the word toxic if you want, but you're coming from a very unhealthy work environment. You're coming from a place of environment where structural and authority was not respected. And I know that some people struggle with the word of authority, and if you do, babe, it's not meant to offend you, it's not meant to trigger you, but if it does, you can hop right on off, right? But there's a sense here where, there was a place where you were working at where structural authority was not something that was valued, was not something that was respected. And you felt every time that you went to work like it was a battle, it was a challenge. You were constantly trying to just get through the day. And there has been some hesitation or some worried energy around this new job as to how is it that you're going to be received. Because again, you're coming in as the man in charge, as the woman in charge, whatever it is. And you're needing to release you're needing to release the belief that this environment is going to be the same, which is not. Now, does not mean that everybody's going to receive you with like open arms right away. No, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but I do feel like people are going to be testing your leadership to make sure that you're the correct person to lead them. And it's not going to be in a rude or then this is what I'm saying. It's going to be something that is going to be different. Like people in this new job or whatever are going to offer help, are going to offer assistance to see how you respond to that, to see how open you are to allow those that you are in charge or that you oversee to come up to you and like talk to you, to come up to you with ideas and etc. So it's not like they're challenging or they're testing you and of like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. They just want to see like how well you're actually going to fit in with the dynamics of the environment in that space already, if that makes sense. So my last job, which was like, my last nursing job, which was like 9 years ago already. Is it 8 or 9? I don't know. I think I'm on 8 years now, since I worked for someone else. We had an amazing CFO. She was somebody that was very approachable. She was somebody that you could go to with no issues. And until this day, like I still, when I go over, like I like to ask for her to see how she's doing and everything, because when it comes to leadership, it's not just about dictatorship, right? It's not just about telling people what to do or this and this and that. It's also about like how can you build an environment at work that really allows the flow of things to go through. I don't know if that makes any sense. What hides in your shadows is the colorless angel. The biggest challenge for you during this time is trusting yourself. Is going to be coming in there with this energy of authority, but also being open to receiving, being open to learning the dynamics of the new space. We always have to be reminded that even if we are in position of leadership, we should always remain students, because there's always something that we can learn from others, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for you guys. All right, I'm going to check my time real quick. Oh, it's early. Because I have a call within an hour. So we have laughter as your oracle. We have the wholeness, overjoyed, and smiling. So I really want you again to put your best foot forward when it comes to this situation, when it comes to this career. This is something that again is going to bring you a lot of joy. You're going to be very happy working here. You're going to be very happy working with your coworkers and etc. You are walking career-wise into a more exciting, calming, dependable and reliable space, if that makes sense. Okay. Cancer, Leo, CUSP. Right before I tapped into your energy, I took my pen and I started crossing off like 24 things off my list that I have already done. And why is it that I'm laughing? I'm laughing because I feel that that is what you are essentially doing this week in your life, is you are taking pen to paper and, in a symbolic way, and you're crossing things off that that no longer serve you. Whether this is like, you're cleaning off your closet, you're decluttering your house, you're also decluttering your personal energetic field. You're serving certain people eviction letters or notices, when it comes to the spaces of the time or whatever it is that they occupy, the energy, that's pretty much the way that it's coming in. It's coming in as energy, time, and space that they take up in your life, and you are evicting them. You're focusing more, you're honing in more into I keep on seeing like a trio, right? We keep on looking at the three. And for some of you, this may just be like your significant other, and like a child or a dog, a cat, whatever it is, like trying to protect the unity or the sanctuary of a trio, whether that is you with like your intimate family, right, like your household, or this is just you by yourself, like your mind, your spirit, your soul, your body, and really trying to protect that. That's the energy that keeps on coming up. It's like protection, and not in a not in a scary scarcery type of way. It's more this space of I need to start showing up for me more. I need to start showing up for me more. I need to start putting myself first. I need to start honoring the things that I say that I'm going to do for myself or with myself. Hold on, guys. I need to pick up my hair. I will continue talking as I'm picking it up. But yeah, there's something about this. There's like certain rings that I have to take off to do my hair. There's something about this space where you're just wanting. Hold on, because I know I'm moving a lot, so I know the sound is probably going to be weird because the mic is so close to like my face. Anyways, so yeah, there's this space where like you're wanting protection, or you're wanting to keep something sacred. You're wanting to keep something from being damaged, from being dirtied. I don't know. It's weird. I feel like for some of you, this is going to be directly like spiritually. Maybe there's a new practice or something that you recently started and you're wanting to either keep it private or keep it to yourself. Not every aspect or every part of your practice needs to be shared with everyone. Why is that ring falling off? Okay, let's go ahead and let's pull out what lies in the shadows for you guys. What is lying in the shadows? Because this overprotective energy. So the masquerade. So for some of you exposed too much of yourself, or you felt like you gave too much of yourself, and now you're trying to find a balance as to how can you share enough but without oversharing or overgiving. Like how can you still help without, because like when we think about a masquerade, right, I think right away of like going to a party wearing a mask and not really showing all of your hands. And it's almost kind of like that is the balance that you guys need to find. It's like you can share without sharing like very personal details. Like there are certain things that are okay to keep to yourself. It doesn't mean that you're fake. It doesn't mean that you're playing other people. It just means that certain things are just sacred for yourself, like for you and spirit or whatever it is. All right. So let's go ahead and let's pull out an oracle card for your closing message. Honeymooning, love on the brain, talking often, and feeling all the feels. So again, for some of you, this is going to be in regards to like someone else, like, you know, keeping these spaces of like your intimate family sacred, keeping it protected. And for others of you, this is just the energy of like keeping yourself protected, keeping yourself in a space where you are not just honoring yourself by showing up for yourself, but also by not allowing unwanted and uninvited energies into your space. Leo, Virgo, cusp. Let's step away from the phone for a little bit. Some of you keep on checking your phone or you're checking your email. You're waiting for something. You're waiting for someone to reach out. You may have had a dream with this person, and you may have been feeling like somebody is going to be reaching out to you soon. Some of you are questioning whether you should be the one to reach out to this person. Now, whether this is romantic or platonic is going to be different for every single one of you. You're being advised to allow this to be the end of something. You're having a hard time with that. You don't want to let that. You don't want this. And it's not that you don't want it to end, because you're really the spirit really wants this to end. I'm willing to let it go, but I still need to speak my piece. And I think that that's part of the lesson that you need to learn here, is that sometimes you don't get to say goodbye, or sometimes you don't get to speak your piece. Sometimes things just end, and that is just the end of it. And you're feeling like you're being robbed of the opportunity of saying something to someone. And if that is the case, if you are feeling like that, then, oh my God, I need to put another shirt on. This shirt goes up way too high in my neck, and I feel like the mic is like right under my chin. Anyways, if you're feeling like that, you're needing to, you're going to have to work through that on your own. You can't force somebody to listen to what it is that you have to say. You can't force somebody to care about your emotions or your feelings, right? And a very good thing to do, especially like if you feel like you haven't gotten closure from someone, is write a letter and burn it. Write a letter and bury it. Write a letter and drown it in water. Whatever it is that rocks your boat when it comes to releasing and letting go. But definitely needing to process through those emotions. Some of you, I'm going to be completely honest with you, this ending has left you feeling completely out of control, and maybe seeking help as far as like seeing a therapist, etc., may be good. So there's a difference between like therapist, psychology, and psychiatrist, right? Sometimes from time to time, a therapist, I'm a huge advocate for therapy. We all do it here, my children, myself. Do we see a therapist all year round? No. But when we're having like little challenging areas that we're like, okay, I need space to like speak this out so that I can, because for me, therapy anyways is a tool that I use to say things out loud so that then I can hear them and I can be like, oh, okay, I see where that is, right? So it's kind of like maybe something like that you may need. And whoever it is that you're venting to, whether it is friends or family members, they are enabling you to stay in the same space, and you're needing to let go of that. We have blinded to pain. You're so used to being consistently in these energies, in these spaces, that constantly cause you to be emotionally unstable, emotionally, like it's almost kind of like you get pulled from one extreme to the next when it comes to your emotions, and you're needing to navigate that, and this is something that you're going to have to take accountability for, and you're going to have to seek the help that you need when it comes to this. Okay, love. Alrighty. We're starting therapy up, like my children and I as a family, just because of certain dynamic things that are shifting with their dad and stuff like that. And I think that they all need a safe space to speak about certain things, about their feelings and etc. So again, I don't demonize therapy at all. I actually very much encourage it. So that is that, my love. All right, so let's go ahead. What is the closing message for Leo Virgo? What is the closing message for Leo Virgo? TikTok, deadline, procrastination, and too busy. Again, you're trying to avoid the truth of the matter of something. You're focusing way too much on how can I speak to this person? How can I get a hold of them? How can I let them know how I feel? How can I let them know how they made me feel? And you're feeling there is this sense of urgency of like, if I don't get this out, I'm never going to be able to heal. If I don't do this, I'm never going to be able to heal. And it's like, hey, let's declutter a little, and let's figure out how we can deal with this. Like, why is it that we need them to hear us? Like, where is it within yourself that you're not listening to yourself? Or where is it within yourself, maybe as a child, that you felt like your voice wasn't heard? And navigating it through that space instead of constantly needing validation from other people. Virgo, Libra, CUSP. This week you're going to be a little bit more tired. You're either taking a little bit, like you're taking naps. Maybe that's something that's weird for you, or you're sleeping in a lot more. There is this collective energy with you guys, that there is some type of recalibration to your spirit that is happening, that requires your physical body to kind of go dormant as you're going through this transition. I would definitely say not to fight it. Again, everybody's situation is different, so maybe you have to go to work or whatever it is. So I would say at least between now and, for this week, so starting from today to, 7 days from now or whatever, do not overcommit yourself to anything extra, right? So maybe just going to work, doing your regular basic things, right? Like, do not overcommit to helping this person with that. Do not commit to helping that person with this. Do not start anything new that is going to require you to physically be present. Because again, this recalibration is happening at a physical level, and there is this space of like your physical body seriously needs the rest. If you're up in the middle of the night or whatever it is, again, learn to fall, like, what was I going to say? Learn to follow the rhythm of like what your internal clock is doing at this moment in time. For some of you, you're maybe getting like 2-3 hours at night, and then during the day, like especially like between like 9 a.m. and like noon, or 9 a.m. and 1, your body gets really, really sleepy, really, really tired. Again, and during recalibrations and things like that, it doesn't have to be like an all or nothing, right? We have here the sacrifice card, and this is what is hiding within the shadows. Sometimes we feel that we have to just like surrender, and we do, but there's different ways of doing it. So like if you are working from like 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m., there's no way that between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. you're going to be able to sleep, right? So this is where you go to your altar, you sit, whatever it is, however it is that you connect with your spiritual team, and you're like, okay, I want this rest. I want this. I want to recalibrate the way that I'm meant to. But how can we make this feasible for the actual things that I have to show up, right? Maybe that may look like, okay, there's a day that I can work a half day. Maybe there's a day that I can take off. Or maybe on my day off, let's just freaking sleep the entire day. Again, there is a need here to learning to co-create with spirit, not just on manifesting the things that you want, but also manifesting or co-creating when you are going through these huge transitions. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I usually go, I haven't been in a couple of months, but so from time to time I go and I cook at a spiritual temple. And when I am there, I am on a very strict schedule. And not strict, but like, I'm on a schedule. And when I'm home, I'm not on a schedule. When I'm home, I do whatever. If I'm up at 2 in the morning, I'm up at 2 in the morning, right? But whenever I go into that space, my body automatically knows, okay, we are up at this time, we're cooking, we're kitchen, we're not done until this time, and then we do whatever we want. And it took a while, and it took until I realized that I could literally just speak it into existence. Okay, when I am here at the temple, this is what I'm going to do. And when I am home, this is what I'm going to do. And Spirit was like, got it, let's go. And my spiritual team got got to work right away. But for a very long time, I want to say the first like 2 or 3 times that I cooked there, I was having a challenging time because I was still waking up my normal times that I do here at home, right? I was still waking up in the middle of the night. I was ready to start my day at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on the seasons. And I was there one day and I was like, okay, if I'm going to continue on cooking here, whether it's once every couple of months or whatever it is, I need this to be able to work. So I need my sleeping schedule to be different while I am here. And then the following time when I went, it's like my sleep schedule just like recalibrated itself for that space. All right. So as your closing message we have today, good vibes, present, and in the moment. You're needing to, as you're doing this recalibration, do not look at it as something that is coming in to disturb anything or is coming in to annoy you or anything like that. Instead, I invite you to sit in the present moment with it and allow yourself to immerse yourself in what it is that is being recalibrated. Okay. Libra, Scorpio, cusp. And I know that this is going to sound counter, it's going to sound backwards, but you need to ease up a little with this like germ phobia that you're having right now. Some of you are like overutilizing or overusing like hand sanitizers and all of this other stuff. What you're essentially doing, and when I say overusing, I'm talking like an obsession with it, is killing like the normal bacteria and things that are meant to be in your hands, right? And remember that our skin, everything, our entire body was designed to fight certain things off. And when we try to like over clean it or over saturate everything with this whatever it is that you're doing, you're actually compromising your immune system and you're actually causing yourself to allow more in. And if this is not on a physical level, this may be on a spiritual level where you are going down and when I say love and light, guys, I'm talking about completely suppressing or dismissing that the opposite, the duality of it exists. And you have allowed yourself to immerse yourself into a space where you're like, well, if I don't think about it, it can't get to me. Yes, my love, it can still get to you. It is not about avoiding or suppressing the quote unquote like negative aspects of life, the negative thought patterns, the this and this and that. It is about acknowledging them. And I keep on saying this, and I know that you guys are tired of hearing it. But until you don't learn to transmute these thoughts, these energies, and learn to integrate them into whom you are, you're going to keep on hearing the same freaking message from me. Because the thing is that like at this point in the game, it's like, come on. Like, when we first start our journey, we see the things that have triggered us. We see the things that have kept us blocked, right? As we continue to walk in our path, we start to notice them immediately. You'll react and immediately you're like, oh shoot, I reacted, right? And it's like, okay, now we need to do better next time. And then the next time you start to catch yourself right before you react, but you still react, right? And then you finally catch yourself right before and you're like, I don't need to react to this. There's a way that I can respond to this. And then you respond to it, right? And then there comes this space where like, before that energy, that person even approaches you, you can even sense the energy and you're just like, you know what, we're not even going to engage with that in that way to allow it to even get to that space. And there's different ways that you can see that happening. What lies in your shadow, my love, is the fated to suffer. Some of you think that you're going to constantly be fighting the same battle. And the only reason why you've been fighting the same battle is because you get a little annoyed with the fact that you have to put in some work, that you actually have to consciously do work. You want spirit to come in and be this knight in shining armor that comes in and saves the day, that comes in and eliminates all of these, perceptions and thought patterns and all of this other crap. But the reality of it is that spirit is coming in to save the day by showing you and allowing you to become aware of what lies there and guiding you on how to work through those, how to grow through those processes. But you are avoiding doing the work, my love. All right, let's go ahead and let's see. What do we have as a closing message? Red flag, warning signs, take heed, risky situations. Again, spirit is letting you know like, hey, this is a situation that's going to blow up. Or, hey, we're in the midst of a trigger. Let's deal with this differently. But again, you are upset at the fact that you're still dealing with this. Remember, if you were in a time or space of seclusion where you were doing the work, right? You were doing healing work or whatever it was. Once you're done, your place back into reality. We don't like that, right? We have to get back into the general population so that then we can see how much we actually changed, how much we actually grew. Or are we still reacting the same way? And you don't like that, but it's the reality of it. And we all play the same game, my love. Okay? Scorpio, Sagittarius. I wanted to say Sagittarius, Scorpio, and it's very weird that I wanted to come in this way, but right now I'm just like, I had to lean back a little. My back is, my body's like ready to like go take a nap. I have been taking a lot of slower, guys. I'm sorry. And why am I sharing this? Because I feel like that is the energy where some of you were really pushing yourself, or you were really going after something, whether this is romantically or career wise, financially, and something has yield reward, or something has been attained, and now the spirit is telling you like, okay, it's okay to rest, it is okay to bask in the joy of this, it is okay to embrace this, it's okay to celebrate this. And why did I mention about like wanting to switch Scorpio Sag to Sag Scorpio is because the Scorpion energy that you carry is making you worry, or is trying to worry you as to what could go wrong. What could go wrong, or you're like in a high alert energy or space of like expecting something to go wrong, and spirit, like your Sag self is like, nah, we got this, let's celebrate this, nah, we got this, let's celebrate this. And that is the dynamic of what it is that your challenge is for this week. It's allowing yourself to fully receive something without doubting, doubting what it is that you have received. Does that make sense? So what we have in the shadows here, we ended up with two cards, and I took them because I feel like it definitely represents the duality of what it is that you're fighting this week. We have the downcast pride, and then the child I was meant to be. That Sag part of yourself is wanting to celebrate, is wanting to just enjoy, is wanting to receive. But the Scorpion energy within you is wanting to bring you down a couple of pedestals, is wanting to keep you grounded, but the way that it wants to do it is in a very like unhealthy way. It may be like, certain phrases or certain things that are replaying in your head, like, oh, you know, maybe things that your parents used to say to you. Like, okay, one of them is like, for a very long time, when I wanted to manifest money, I used to be afraid of it, and I couldn't understand why. Because it wasn't that I didn't think I deserved it. It wasn't none of this, right? Like there was a little bit of that, but I was working through that. And one of the reasons why was that I always heard, or I always saw people saying like, more money, more problem. And that was something that unconsciously I took on. And it became a thing, like whenever I came into like extra money, whenever I made extra money or whatever, something would break or something needed to go towards that. And when I realized that that was what was happening, I would work it into my manifestations as to like, okay, this is what I want to manifest, but nothing is going to break, nothing is going to need this money, like nothing is going to pull from this, especially when it was very specific money that I was trying to save for something, right? Or wanting to have this space of like, my little nest security money or whatever it is. And for some of you, it's kind of like that energy where you feel like when you receive something, is going to come and take it. We have the machismos card as your closing message, is the masculine pride, toxic masculinity, and meeting manly expectations. Again, you're on you're on the defense, you're on guard, waiting for something to go wrong, and you need to get yourself out of that space, out of that energy. Sagittarius, Capricorns. It was weird. Okay, how can I word this? Because it sounds like very weird. So like picture yourself like sleeping, and you wake up before your alarm, and you kind of like raise your head, and because this is like literally like the image that they showed me was like, okay, you're laying down, you're sleeping, you wake up, but it's like you're still in the midst of like waking up, and like you're still in the like you're in the that in between. I love that space. I go there like multiple times a day, right? You're in that in between sleep and wake, and you realize it, and you kind of like pop your head up a little, like not all the way, and then you go right back to sleep. And there's something about that space, or when you recognize that you are in that space, needing to speak something to existence, or needing to speak something, or recognizing when it is that you're in that space. I don't know, there's something about about that space that is like you're being called to. There's something here about either needing to do more research or start working more with like the dream energy or that space of like being in between. And again, I'm picking it up as a dream space more than anything. Maybe you're doing some work or you're learning about like different dimensions and how to be in two places at one when we're talking about like spiritually. That's pretty much what I'm getting, the gist of this. This is not a reading that wants to continue on. As I say that, like all of the cards kind of like fell to like they were about to fall into the floor, and it's like that's all that they needed to hear is what I keep on hearing. We have the number 7 as was in the shadow as a sacrifice. The sacrifice for you in this space is needing to allow yourself or give yourself the space or the time to study, to research whatever it is the spirit is asking you to research when it comes to the space of like the in between. Some of you may be able to access that space through meditation is what I'm being told, but for a lot of you it's like seriously is going to happen a lot as you are rising. So you're going to see yourself waking up probably like 10 or 15 minutes before your alarm is supposed to go off, and you're spending like those 15 minutes till your alarm goes off in that in-between space, and you're supposed to be learning something in that space. Okay, that was weird. Not really, but again, give me a closing message, Spirit, for Sag Cappy. Give me a closing message for them. Now, I'm not saying that you're physically pregnant, but when we talk about pregnancy, we talk about growing life within yourself, right? That incubation period where something is growing, where something is being created. And that is the energy we have here: pregnancy, expecting, and motherhood, right? Or mothering. And there is this sense, like, again, there's something here that is being created, something here that you are learning, that you are in the midst of during this time. And it is something that you will eventually birth into creation, okay? Okay. Capricorn, Aquarius, cusp, I need you to stop. Stop with the crash diets or stop with the overdoing it. Some of you have been going really hard. And when I say really hard, I'm talking about like you're taking something to an extreme. Whether this is a diet, whether this is working out, whether this is overindulging, watching too much TV or, you know, overspending, whatever it is. There is an energy here of like overdoing it with something, overindulging in something that is very much feels in the moment very gratifying, very satisfying, but then the minute you regulate or the minute that you come down from that initial high, you go into this really heavy, like destructive energy of like talking down to yourself, being very judgmental to yourself, being very angry with yourself. And then it's like this repetitive hook or this repetitive cycle that you have been in or that you're going to be in if you don't stop it or if you don't nip it in the bud as soon as it arises, right? So, and I'm going to share like what mine would normally look like. And I've said it again, like I'm on 3 weeks right now post-op. And the first week post-op, I didn't watch any TV. I was sleeping, basically, those first 7 days. And then, like, around the second week, I started watching certain shows and things like that just because, like, I wasn't sleeping as much during the day. And into the end of the second week and beginning of the third week, which was this beginning of this week, I noticed that I'm like, okay, I'm overdoing this because I can physically do more. I cannot do as much as I want, but I can physically get up and do certain things. So I'm needing to like, okay, let me nip this in the bud before I go into week 4 and 5 overindulging with TV shows that I have already seen. And when I say I have already seen, I'm talking about like, I've already, seen the Desperate Housewives. I've already seen The Closer. Like I was watching shows that I have already seen like many, many, many times over and over again. Anyways, here we have the perchance to dream, right? There's something here again within the when I'm talking about like dream in this particular space, it's the space of escape, like to escape, right? So like and that's another one that I will share. Like sometimes taking a nap or sleeping or whatever could be a way of avoiding something. It can be daydreaming, focusing a lot on the things that you like to dream about, the things that you would like to create, but not actually taking actions towards them. So you're like overloading yourself with the daydreaming, the outline, the planning of something, but there is a lack of action here. All right. So what is their closing message? We have the SOS, distressed, act with urgency, and assistance needed. So there is this urgency energy, and you know, I usually don't like urgency energies, but in this case is needed, because in this case, excuse me guys, I had an alarm going off. In this case, this urgency energy is to pull you out of a destructive energy or a destructive behavior that you usually slowly crawl yourself into, and then it becomes very hard for you to pull yourself out. Aquarius, Pisces, cusp. Yeah, Aquarius, Pisces, cusp. I don't know why I had it down myself. Some of you may be dealing with individuals around you this week that are questioning your, excuse me guys, that are questioning your authority or questioning you as a person. If this is not at work, this can be like a significant other, like in a relationship. Again, somebody is questioning your authority within a certain field, a certain space, or somebody is just questioning you just in general. Like, oh, why do you wear that? Why do you choose that lipstick color? Why did you choose to wear a suit? Why can't you just wear like a sports jacket? Like, it's almost kind of like that type of space. So I just need you to be mindful that you are going to be dealing with that a lot this week. It is not a reflection, and I need to say this, it is not a reflection of where it is that you are at right now in your life. This is just something that is happening collectively, where a lot of people are avoiding a lot of like self work and self reflection, and they're doing they're doing a little bit extra projection this week. So just kind of be aware of that. As far as like everything else, I feel like your week is going pretty good. You are meeting some type of important deadline. Something about a headline. Maybe there's something where you may be mentioned, like either like TV or like a newspaper or something, like you're being something that you do, or maybe the company, something that you're connected to is being announced like at a worldwide or statewide type of recognition, or maybe like even city-wise, like maybe you are in your town's paper this week or this month or whatever it is. There's something about that space where, again, you're not even realizing that it's happening. You're going to be shocked, like, oh, shoot, somebody actually made a piece on my business or whatever it is. We have here, hiding in the shadows, is the blind to pain, and this is why I needed to readdress, or why I'm readdressing the space of like people's projection onto you. It's not about you needing to go in and self-reflect. The individuals that are questioning you on something or whatever, it is purely just projection. It has nothing to do with you needing to go in and do any work when it comes to yourself. Like, I don't pick up this energy of like you doubting yourself or anything like that. So just be very mindful of that. And it is more, not probably, it is more about like you observing these energies and realizing or recognizing the different frequency as to when it is a simple projection or when your spirit is asking you to reflect on something. We have the detective here as your closing message: snooping, digging for dirt, and accusation. Again, when we talk about detective, like, they ask a lot of questions, they want to know a lot of things, and this and this and that, and that's just like the overall energy that you're dealing with this week. Okay, okay, and it's okay. I feel like you're gonna manage this. You're gonna manage this space and this energy very well. Okay. Pisces, Aries, cusp. There's something here about planning for the future or making some type of a commitment. Now, whether this commitment is romantically or platonic is irrelevant. Maybe you're committing to a career, you're committing to a job, you're committing to a person. There is, though, here a little sense of something makes you feel uneasy. I would address that to see if it's something that is internally within you, or maybe it's something that Spirit is trying to show you. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Again, I'm never wearing this shirt again, because this shirt like goes, like the neckline goes up to my neck, and I keep on hitting the mic. So I do apologize for if the noise is off. But anyways, there is this sense where I can't tell you, and I know people hate when I say this, I can't tell you what it is, if that makes any sense, like whether it is internally or whether it is something outsourced that you're picking up on. What you're supposed to be focusing as you're feeling whatever it is that you're feeling towards this commitment is the sensation of where it is that you feel this in your body. How is it that it's feeling in your body, where it is that you're feeling it in your body, and then maybe go into like a little meditation or something and ask Spirit to show you, when did you feel this exactly, and what was the situation surrounding it. And you might be surprised. It may be something that was really good, and it may be something that was not good at all, right? We have here number 30 as what's in your shadow, calling the storm, right? So Spirit is asking you to get into a deeper connection with yourself, to allow your sensory to heighten, right? Because when you start to recognize or connect the dots, when you feel certain things sensationally, like in your body, right? Certain senses, sensory issues or whatever it is usually, sometimes it's a warning like, hey, something bad is happening, but sometimes it's a warning like, hey, prepare yourself, something good is happening. And you're needing to lean in more to like listening to your own intuition and stop depending so much on somebody confirming what it is that is going on within you. I am going to say this, and I'm probably going to, but I honestly feel that the results of what this is going to be for you is something that you're going to be very glad with. Alrighty? Okay. Regardless of whichever way it goes, my love. All right. What is the closing message, for? What is the closing message? Lust, greed, bareback, and inconsiderate. This is an energy that you need to watch out for. There's somebody, and again, when we pull out the last card, is either a confirmation to what we were saying, or an advice of something like that you need to watch out that didn't come out in the reading. And I feel that when I like what I had said was, when it's a confirmation is when people are hesitant to receive the message, and when is an advice is something that, okay, you receive the message, you're going to integrate that, so now I can give you a little bit more. Be very wary, or be aware of individuals that you're connecting with within the next like 3 to 4 days. These are new people that you may be meeting or something like that, that you don't allow yourself to be pulled or to be dragged into situations that make you uncomfortable. You're going to be meeting, I want to say, like between 3 to 4 new people that have a very hard time with respecting other people's autonomy and other people's boundaries, and you're needing to really stand up for yourself during that time and not allowing yourself to be peer pressure into anything. Okay. Alrighty, guys, that is all that I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing. Guys, take care. Love you all. Bye bye.